to the World Football News Network. I'm Riley Madison. Today we have the funnest day in MLS, Decision Day. And here to break it all down with me is Tom Sweezy from the Twitter account MLS Aces, which you can follow at MLS Aces on the Twitter sphere. Tom, how you doing this morning?
Pretty good. How are you doing this morning?
I am slightly tired.
Me too.
You want to just jump right into it? Save the small talk for that?
Let's go right in.
All right, East. The Eastern Conference is not that hard. It's pretty set up. You know New England's pretty much not going to make it, so it's just seeding. Red Bulls have it locked up pretty much. They have a 13-goal differential over NYCFC. 7-0 thrashing.
It hurts, but yeah, they got first.
But NYCFC is second, 51 points. Not terrible for a second-year MLS team.
Not at all. It was a great year for my team.
Oh yeah, David Villa had a big part in that.
Oh, of course.
Toronto's sitting a point behind. Toronto can theoretically jump up and go bye, which is I know it's kind of frightening. Toronto plays Chicago, so
it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
But NYCFC plays Columbus. Columbus hasn't exactly been great. That'd be a fun thing to watch up there. I'm more focused on DC, Montreal, and Philadelphia. Philadelphia's pretty much almost certainly locked in to the 6th spot unless Montreal lose and they win. Which Montreal plays New England. Yeah, Montreal plays New England and Philadelphia plays New York Red Bulls. I don't see Philadelphia winning unless New York Red Bulls rest players.
The only way I see Philadelphia winning is, yes, if the Red Bulls decide to rest some of their stars like Wright Phillips and Kleshkin, or they only play a certain amount of minutes, whatever. But I think Philly's definitely locked into that 6th spot going into the playoffs just because of the easy schedules that Montreal and DC have in front of them.
And I say New England, they're out, right? The win combined with a Philadelphia loss, but New England Revolution would have to win by 12 goals.
I think we can say they're done. I think their poor performance last week put them in the situation, and I think you can say they're done.
But it is MLS.
You know what? It is. You know, the Red Bulls scored how many goals against NYCFC? So it could happen, you know?
I mean, they got the players, I think. Lee Win, Kakamara.
Yeah.
Just let it rip.
They have the names.
You got to lose.
You just have to start shooting randomly. Hopefully it goes in.
Hopefully it goes in 12 times. Without letting the other team score.
Exactly.
New England's pretty much stick 4 game.
Yes.
Alright, so these are all the teams with clinched playoff places. Red Bulls, NYCFC, Toronto, DC, and Montreal. The only reason Philadelphia hasn't clinched is because that whole goal differential thing. They're going to get in. So how do you see it shaking out as far as seeding? You think Toronto grabs the 2nd spot?
The Red Bulls, like we said, obviously, I think it's easy. We can say they have the 1st seed locked. NYC, I think, comes in at 2. I think they have an impressive game against Columbus. They won their last matchup against Columbus. And I think they have a repeat performance. Toronto FC, they may win against Chicago, but with my NYCFC winning, they fall in at 3. DC is a lock at that 4th spot because they play Orlando, who does not have a good defense, and DC's offense has been on fire lately. Montreal comes in at 5 and Philly at 6.
But like I just said, this is MLS.
That's always like a disclaimer you should put up top. Like, they matter.
Hang it up on the top of this interview thing. This is MLS. None of this stuff could happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, DC, their offense has been on fire. Orlando's defense isn't exactly great. Orlando could, win by two goals to nil and keep a clean sheet.
Exactly. MLS, like, it's hard to have these like breakdowns and discussions about it because Chicago can beat FC Dallas one day, and it's like, where the hell did that come from? You know?
It's a beautiful thing in this league, but it's really weird.
It's beautiful, but it hurts sometimes.
I mean, that's pretty much for the East.
The
East
is simple.
It's you already know your 6 playoff places, and the points are so like 2 points and 4 points. You pretty much can predict the seeding.
Yeah,
I think we're good in the East.
Yes,
the Red Bulls. Not just Red Bulls. The whole state of New York is better than everybody. Except for Toronto.
Right there, man. Giovinco coming back. CFC. They can get that 2 spot. They can get a first round bye, and they can do something. You know, having Giovinco healthy right before the playoffs is a scary thing.
And Josie Altidore.
Josie Altidore in his form.
He's really good.
Killing it.
All right, moving on to the West, where things aren't as simple. FC Dallas, top of the table, 59 points, sitting 2 above Colorado. Then LA comes in third with a 6-point gap between Colorado and the Galaxy. Real Salt Lake in fourth, Sounders in fifth, Kansas City in sixth, and Portland Timbers, the defending champions, on the outside looking in. Real Salt Lake, the Sounders, and Kansas City have not clinched a playoff place, and the Timbers are tied for sixth, only trailing on goal differential. Now, how it seems like it's going to work, Real Salt Lake, all they have to do is win or draw and they're in. Seattle Sounders, they have to win and they're in. They play Real Salt Lake. So Real Salt Lake theoretically drop right down at the bottom if Kansas City and Portland win.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all of these different scenarios on how Real Salt Lake can drop, how Seattle can drop, how Kansas City can drop, and how Portland can not make it.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a case that every one of these has a great chance of happening.
Exactly. The West is seeds 4 through 6 in the West are totally up for grabs between 4 different teams, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens because a lot of these teams have control of their own destiny. So we'll have to see. Especially that Real Salt Lake Seattle game is going to be a good one.
That's intense. You just said it. 4 different teams. This is the Wild Wild West. Like, it's really the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous that we're down to decision day, and these point gaps are 2 between Portland in 7th and Real Salt Lake in 4th.
Exactly.
This parity is ridiculous.
It's unbelievable. I mean, like, if we look at this and we try to like break it down, you look at the top 3 teams in the West, and I think they are much better than anyone in 4, 5, 6, or 7. So it's like this is important, this is interesting, but you got to look at the 3 big dogs in the West. You have to look at them a little bit, give them their credit.
That's what we have the supporter shield for. Yeah, that'll be coming up later. But going back to the 4 through 7, 4 really good teams, not great teams. And when I say great's a big word, but New York, the 2 teams in New York, FC Dallas, the Rapids, Toronto, and LA are really good. They're great for the league. All these other teams are really good, or they wouldn't be in the playoff picture. They'd be like Columbus, Orlando, Houston, Vancouver. Those teams aren't good. Yeah, Chicago, I forgot the worst one. But Real Salt Lake plays Seattle. We mentioned that. On ESPN's big game. What happens?
I think Real Salt Lake comes away with the win. Seattle's getting hurt. Clint Dempsey obviously being out. They just the news came out yesterday that Ivan Schitz isn't going to play in the midfield, and he's looked pretty good with Ladero, like in that creating, attacking midfield spot. And I don't know if Morris, Alonso, and Ladero can be the 3-headed monster to go attack against a very experienced Real Salt Lake side.
So you have Real Salt Lake going into Seattle on decision day.
Yes.
In front of that fan base, beating the Sounders.
I'm not saying it's going to be a thrashing. I'm saying
it's not going to be but still to go in and win in Seattle.
I think they can still. They're going to at least draw, and they're going to at least keep that spot that they have. And I think they're a much better side than Seattle right now with all of Seattle's injuries.
That game's so hard.
It's
you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know how these teams are going to match up. Yeah, Real Salt Lake's very experienced, but Seattle's very fun.
Again, it's MLS. You never know. Like, Real Salt Lake, they have the greatest keeper in MLS history. They have Kyle Beckerman, who's very experienced. 2 forwards up top who have been killing it all season long. But then you come and look at Seattle. They're the hottest team in MLS. Well, one of the hottest teams in MLS. They have the most exciting player in MLS, in my opinion, right now, Nicholas Lodeiro. And you don't know how this is going to end up. You know,
it's gonna be fun.
It is.
Decision day's great.
It's gonna be so much fun tomorrow.
All right, moving on to Kansas City and Portland. Those two teams are tied for 6th. Kansas City has a -1 goal differential as opposed to Portland's -2. That's why they hold the advantage. Both teams have the exact same record. Portland, they play on the road at Vancouver in a Cascadia rivalry that might get a little dirty. And Kansas City, they play at home against San Jose. Now, with these two teams so close, 1 goal apart, do you think Portland gets in, or do you think KC stays in the 6th?
This was the hardest thing that I had to decide yesterday, because this was probably the toughest seeding matchup for me here. I think Kansas City comes away with the 6th seed because of, 1, their home game. They have the advantage of being home against a weak San Jose side that doesn't score many goals. And Portland being on the road, that rivalry, Vancouver's looking to upset some Portland fans tomorrow.
Just because you said San Jose doesn't score many goals, Chris Wondolowski's on a hat trick tomorrow. You know that, right?
It's probably going to happen now. Sorry, Kansas City fans. Sorry.
Yeah. But it's 6 and 7's really hard. The 2 games they have to play, it's just you don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and make a prediction like I know what's going to happen. No one really knows what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Matt Doyle from MLSsoccer.com doesn't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Everything I'm saying is just my prediction, my guess of what's going to happen. You know, again, we can have that disclaimer up here. It's MLS. San Jose could go win 8-0 against KC, and Portland can kill it. You know,
and we wouldn't bat an eye.
Exactly. San Jose had a really good day.
It's the parody, man, of MLS.
Great.
Before we get to sports shoot, I want to talk about you. You run a fantastic Twitter account called MLS Aces, as I mentioned earlier. I want to understand why you got into American soccer, why you love this league, and why you like your national team.
A few years ago, I wasn't the biggest fan of soccer at all. Didn't like it, whatever. Some of my close friends from home just got me into watching soccer, and we watched the 2014 World Cup. It was one of the best sporting contests I've ever watched in my entire life. I got myself excited the entire time. Watching Chris Wondolowski's missed goal was heartbreaking. Tim Howard, John Anthony Brooks, Julian Green, watching all of them and those memorable moments. I don't even need to say what moments they were. If I say those names, you know what I'm talking about if you're a U.S. soccer fan for that World Cup. That just got me so excited about the sport, and I wanted to watch more after the World Cup was over. So I was like, let me see, my country's league. So I'm watching MLS, and I see how it's totally different from the BPL, from the Bundesliga, from La Liga. And I love like you said, I love the parody about it. I love just how different and how exciting MLS can be. And, it's all just stemmed from there into me deciding to create this Twitter account, me writing this blog. It's something that I love.
Yeah, that World Cup's magical. That Jermaine Jones screamer against Portugal.
God, I love that picture. I just see that picture on, you Google Jermaine Jones, his first picture.
Yeah, you have the Clint Dempsey in the first minute, John Brooks in the 90th minute. And you say we got so excited. The U.S. went 1-2. We lost 2 games. We lost half of our game. Only drawed 1. Then we somehow beat Ghana. Ghana's not that good, but still.
Yeah, but
we had a 90th minute World Cup goal. That means a lot.
Exactly. The United States, we're not that, as a nation, we're not that good at soccer. You look at our FIFA rankings, we're 20-something in the world now. I try to keep up with it. It's hard. But it's just the excitement that soccer's a growing sport in America now, and that people, don't make fun of it, and people are accepting and getting into it. And it's just, that's the fun part about it, is that you can talk about soccer with other Americans.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing to be associated with soccer anymore.
Yes, that stigma has been in the past.
All right, I completely agree with you. That's pretty much how I got into soccer. Is the 2014 World Cup. I've been watching the national team since I was 10, since the 10 World Cup, and just the 14 World Cup got me interested. Hey, what else is out there? I know they talk about Manchester United. I want to see what they are.
Exactly.
Then I got to Premier League, got the MLS, got the La Liga, even though that's really hard to watch.
Yeah, after this 2014 World Cup, I started watching the Premier League. I started watching, the Bundesliga, because that's what I got on TV here. And, it just stemmed to me, saying, that's what does America have to offer? And I love that.
We got a beautiful thing over here. All right, moving on. Supporters Shield. There's pretty much only 2 teams that can get it. It's FC Dallas sitting on 57 points and 59 points rather, my bad. And Colorado sitting on 57. The win differential is for Dallas has 17, Colorado has 15. Dallas also holds the goal differential. So if somehow Dallas were to draw and Colorado would win, FC Dallas would still get the Supporters Shield. With that being said, Colorado would have to win and hope for a Dallas loss to get the Supporters Shield. Dallas holds it right now.
Mm-hmm.
They hold their own destiny. Colorado needs some help. But this Colorado team, man, props.
The best surprise of the year is the Colorado Rapids. People talk about what the Philadelphia Union have done this year. The Colorado Rapids are the second best team in MLS of a year where no one picked them to even come close to the playoffs. Very good team. They've made 2 big signings. They made other very good signings to help their club. And now they're paying off, and now they're sitting second in the Supporters Shield standings and second in the West.
Yeah, that Jermaine Jones guy and Tim Howard. I've heard of those guys. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they bring some attention to the club.
But, coach of the year for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. Pablo has done some excellent things in Colorado this year.
We were talking, we were talking last week. Who's their leading scorer again?
Skeldon Gashi. I'm gonna go with that.
You completely butchered it last week, then you just went with that Gashi guy.
Exactly.
We're talking about the second best team in MLS. Who's our leading scorer? That Gashi guy.
That guy, because you can't say his first name. He's very good. I think he's going to be very good for a very long time in MLS, but I can't say his first name.
We'll learn it if he does become that good.
I'm confident in him.
So, FC Dallas, Supporters Shield, done deal?
I think so. I think FC Dallas is the best team in MLS, the loss of they had some injuries recently, but I still think the talent that they have is far better than any other club in MLS.
When you say injury, don't sugarcoat it. Mario Diaz is FC Dallas.
Mario Diaz is the best player on FC Dallas, and he just went down.
When you say injuries, let's focus. Those other injuries, those are important. Mario Diaz.
I wanted to just glide past that, but
I know it's a thing leading up to the playoffs. Who's gonna step up for Dallas? Max Urruti.
Urruti he's their goal scorer. Like, no matter, they don't really have that premier time goal scorer. FC Dallas never really has. But I try to look at who to replace Mario Diaz as that playmaker. And you could look at a midfielder like Michael Barrios, who's been doing it all year very well, inconsistently, but he's been doing it well. I think you look at the old-time veteran